All right, here we are coming to you live from Harmon. Thank you for starting your day the KUM way. I'm Jason Salas, and this is Starting Lineup. Group chat is now streaming to whatever device you may be on. Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. We're glad you joined us today because we are talking art. And the Guam Art Exhibit is now in its 11th year. Josh Egerstrand, the curator of this wonderful event.
12?
12th year.
12.
12.
Let's say 12.
The fact that you and I actually have to think about that just shows how many there have been, and it gets bigger and better every year. And our featured guest today, we're welcoming Jeff Hamada to the KUM studio. So Jeff Hamada, welcome to Guam.
Thank you for having me.
And Jeff comes to us by way of Vancouver, Canada. So the great white north.
Hello, eh?
All right. That is a long flight. I do not even want to begin to think about that. Have you gotten over the jet lag coming all the way here?
It hasn't hit me yet. Usually when I fly back home, it's pretty brutal. But when I'm here, it's like all adrenaline. So.
Okay. Well, hopefully, Josh and his many friends that put GAX together have kept you incredibly well fed, and
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's been great.
Giving you enough Chamorro barbecue and everything is definitely gonna let you catch up on
Yeah, that will keep
so.
them awake.
Yeah. So we are talking about art today. If you have any comments about GAX, you have anything you want to ask, any love you want to show and everything like that, please throw them in the comments. We'd love to hear from that. But GAX, Josh, I had you in studio maybe about a week ago and everything like that. We're talking about how it's expanded, how it's become so much more than just an art show.
Yeah.
It's almost like a festival, but it's also like multi-location and everything.
Yeah, well, no,
That's
now,
an insane amount of moving parts that you have to deal with.
Yeah, no, so like now we have our GAX that was that launched on the same day that we started with Powwow Guam, right? And that's working with the organization Powwow Worldwide, right? So it's like a franchise at this point. They have them all over the place. So Asia, we just had our first European one, and so we've launched Powwow Guam the same day that we did Guam Art Exhibit on Saturday. And so if you've been around from like Tumon to Agana, we have walls popping up everywhere, boom, 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 boom. And those guests flew in and they're able to enjoy our open night of the exhibit. And that's just a way that we've had some growth, being able to work with this bigger organization and being able to work with people like Jeff Hamada and to be able to connect with some of these huge artists that are coming in. And I think like our local artists they're getting so much value from even just being able to meet someone and say like, hey, am I good? I'm not sure. Because Guam's so isolated, it's very hard to tell. Hard to tell where you stand in the world and where your art can go from here when you live in an isolated
Even
place.
for the art community, as tightly knit as it is, we still exist to some degree in a vacuum. Right?
Oh, I think so. I think, Jeff, you talked to some of the local artists more about that too, right?
Yeah, like last night at dinner, one of the artists, Jeff Egan, or says his name,
Yep.
Ihan, I think.
He actually contributed a piece to our wine, food, and art festival that we had to raise money for cancer research.
He's he's so talented, and I think the sense I got was, he just needs someone from outside the island to say, your work's really good, like try to give them the extra push. And the work's there, it's just sort of a confidence thing. And it's sort of, I really enjoy traveling and getting to meet people, the local artists, and wherever I go, and trying to find out who's making cool stuff, and then really try to help more people see their work. So when I go home, I'm trying to remind them, I'm like, make sure you get the work documented in the show. Send me the photos. I'd love to post about you and say like, here, check out this amazing artist that I met in Guam. And it's really just like a thing in their own mind to make them believe that they have, there's a next step for them to get to where they want to be. And that's sort of become my job. It's a really weird job where I get to just hang out with Josh, like brings me out, and I get to just socialize with artists and take some photos, and somehow that's
a real terrible job. Travel the world, look at amazing pieces of art, and talk to people and hang out. Yeah,
it's definitely.
Woe is you.
Yeah, I definitely feel grateful every day that that's what I get to do, and it's something that I never knew could be a job. I just sort of started doing it as a hobby. It was just having like a personal blog and writing about the trip I took to Montreal or something with my sister, and then realizing it was kind of boring writing about whatever I was doing, like my own art or whatever, and I really enjoyed just like showcasing the work of other people. So I started to get kind of addicted to like looking through the internet, trying to find like really the depths of the internet to find art that I'd never seen before, and having the opportunity to start to travel to some of these places and meet some of these artists face to face and just say, hey, like I'd love to write about you, instead of, I think a lot of times where people are trying to make something blow up or turn into like a job, it's like, what can you do for me? And I think like my approach was, I wasn't trying to turn it into like my living, so I was just cold emailing people saying like, if you have like a few seconds, I'd love to like write about you, or tell me about what you're doing, or other friends you have that are making art. and the fact that I was not asking something from them but wanting to like help them, I think they're like, oh yeah, like I'll connect you with whoever. And so I did that night after night after night for, I've been doing it for 11 years now. I was the first 3 years was maybe sending a few of those emails every night while I had a regular job, just trying to like do this thing for fun. And eventually brands started noticing like how popular the site was getting. Actually, something that happened early on was like Kanye West had a blog at the time called Kanye University, and I'd like to think
missed that blog.
Yeah, it was cool. Like I like to think it was him, but I think there was a whole team behind it.
This is the whole pre-Taylor Swift, kind of like
yeah,
fallout.
Yeah. But
when he still made sense.
They started exactly. They used to reblog content from my site early on, so a lot of people were coming from his website to my website, and so I was working in street fashion at the time, so I had like a very kind of sneaker culture following at the beginning.
Nice. And
then I was like, yeah, but check out this like art that's kind of completely unrelated to that whole like what I was doing for a day job. And the minute that I realized that I could like stop doing this other stuff and just write about people and get to like meet them, it was like I was done with everything.
Now that I find that incredibly interesting, and I really dig that because that plays really, really well to new media, and especially like the social sphere.
Yeah.
Because traditional media would have said you probably would have positioned yourself as like a critic, and you would have find things and nitpick at them and say you can do this better, but this is interesting. Right now, it looks like you're more of like an aggregator, and you're just actually collecting things that you find really, really cool, and you're showing love to people that are talented.
Yeah, I think the key is like to make it personal. Otherwise, like the more generic or broad or like that it appeals to everyone that is, it sort of makes what I do mean nothing. So the more that I can make it work that I'm actually excited about, and it's very much my own personal taste, is the only reason like to not have some algorithm just dictate whatever's on the website. Because I could just take a break, have some algorithm just pick the top articles from every other art site and not do anything, and it would have, I guess, still people check it out, but thered sort of be no point in having it because there'd be so many of the exact same things. So
you also give the personal touch.
Yeah, it's like I think in like I'll sometimes post skateboarding or things that are not necessarily directly in the scope of the site, just because that's stuff I like and that's something an algorithm wouldn't choose to do. So I think the more that I make it like the people that visit the site are getting to know like exactly like what I like, that's really the value there, is like the human connection. So when I meet people here, it's really cool to meet someone like that, Jeff, like last night. I didn't meet him last night, but the other night, and he's like, I've been reading the site for a while, it's cool to meet, and we kind of feel like we know each other because he's saying that he likes really specific stuff, and it's sort of like if you're trying to like meet a girl and date them or something like that, the sooner that you are acting as yourself and not as this other person, it sort of like eliminates the need to like, it's such a waste of time to be someone else.
Take notes, millennials. Be yourself.
No, because
that always helps.
The people that aren't down with what you're doing, like you just don't see them because they just have no interest in talking to you. And the people that really are on the same page, you can like really become friends with them really quickly.
Now, your site obviously wouldn't be as successful as it is if you did not have serious art chops yourself, and you weren't into the culture and into the community, and you had like an amazing amount of art talent yourself. So maybe tell us about your background and how did you get into art and what mediums do you work with?
I went to, like, I took fine arts at school, and then I really randomly switched to film. Like I took film at another more, I guess, like prestigious art school in Vancouver. And yeah, I don't know, like I found art school actually backwards for me, where most people go to school and they're trying to like hone in on one thing that they want to do. Whereas like when I went to school, I found like I was more and more interested in more stuff. So it was almost like the opposite of a funnel, where like it came out really sort of lost, because I really liked film, I liked art, I liked all these different things. And my personality is I want to know about more stuff. I have a hard time actually doing something over and over. So this is like having a website run for more than a decade is really weird to think about, because
a little bit of ADHD can be a good thing.
Yeah, and I think like you can use that to your advantage. Like I think now, the only reason why I've been able to continue the site is because I don't have to do the same thing all the time. Like I can sort of change my day, start some other film project or something, and it can still sort of fall under the umbrella of what Boom is. And anyway, so my own personal work was a lot of like text-based work. I used to like funny little conversations I'd overhear, just thoughts that I had. I would write them down, and then I would draw them as like text pieces with like colorful. I just used to use like pencil crayon like one of the things was I had a text piece that said Tom Cruise should have died at the end of Last Samurai. So I watched this movie and I was really upset that of all the characters in the movie,
Ken has probably got some opinions about that.
Tom Cruise is the only character that survived. So
I also feel that Ken Watanabe should have won Best Supporting Actor, but you know,
that's a
completely different
The Last
conversation.
Samurai was a white guy.
so some of my thoughts are just random things, and and then I just color it. It would be like this really beautifully colored type, and then I just thought it was funny to like put just some random thought like that,
Interesting.
As a piece of art. But and I still write those notes down to myself all the time, and I think, but now like I see the site as my art practice, and I think the site is about art, but really what I enjoy is the people part. So it could be about like hockey or whatever, something else completely, and as long as I still got to connect with people, I think I'd enjoy that just as much.
Well, you're going to love being on Guam because we are a huge sports community. Like,
Yeah.
go to any bar, any restaurant, and people are going to talk sports, for at least a couple hours now. Okay, now, Josh, I want to talk to you about the fact that, GAX, the event, is a wonderful celebration of the art community, and it's a way for people, like you said, to get their work recognized and to be given their due praise. But the lasting impact of what GAX brings are these amazing pieces of art, as you said, like that pop up on the walls. So where are these pieces being created, and where can people see these and enjoy these, for months and years to come?
Sure. So just for like branding sake, right? So GAX is Guam Art Exhibit, and we're helping produce Powwow Guam. The Powwow Guam is the mural. So we're working on getting that difference, because I know everyone in Guam, we know GAX, right? Hey, GAX is an art thing that happens every year. That's a great big party. So GAX is producing the Powwow Guam murals, right? And with Powwow Guam, we've been able to bring in Jeff, we have a Japanese videographer who's amazing, Kosk, K-O-S-K. Should definitely follow him. And then we also brought in a photographer from San Jose. So essentially, we're doing these murals from Agania to Tumon. I have a Google map that I could share with you, where you can see every single location.
Absolutely, we'll put that in the comments.
And then we have like this media team to be able to help spread not just the off-island artists, who obviously have a big following, but be able to spread our local artists and get the images and photography up on Boom or up on Powwow Worldwide, and to get that excitement and seen everywhere. Because obviously it's made for us. A lot of the visiting muralists, they know that this is going to be a present for the local community. As much as it's going to help their fame or their notoriety, they understand that the artwork is going to be in the visual sphere of us going to work every day and what we see outside of our office. And that's why they put so much passion behind it. And you'll see these guys working on the sun for 10-hour days, and everyone's sunburnt, but they know that they're giving to a community, right? And I think it's just pretty exciting, the kind of like that we're able to have these caliber of artists. We have our local artists who are getting really strong, because we've been around for 10 years. So we're growing our local kids. All these guys have been with us 5, 6, 7 years, growing their talent. And I think it's just really exciting for those two things to be next to each other. World famous talent with our local talent that's budding, and with the media reach that we have with help with Jeff, who helped Jasper from Powwow. Like the thing that Lolo is making there, that Keratos is making right now, that Simone from Tokidoki is making, that Royal Dog and Art Time Joe and all these guys, like this could be really important pieces of their career. This could be a really important singular artwork in this scope of international mural thing that we don't know how long is going to last. How long will this trend, this excitement of taking the pop surrealism and the new realistic movement into a public space, how long will it last? And Guam gets to be part of it. With these guys are huge names.
What are they capturing exactly? Because I know last year when they did that, like it was a lot of human forms, a lot of like predominantly female, I want to say, from the ones that I went around and I did interviews with you and that I saw.
Yes.
The mural at JFK was gorgeous.
Yes.
Yeah. So what is there a theme that you actually mandate for Powwow Guam that they try and like capture, or do you just say,
not really,
come to the island for the first time, be inspired by?
No, it's more like we wanted to get people that vibe with each other. So the first thing that we did with 2017 is we just wanted big names, and we wanted realism, because I know Guam loves that. I know Guam loves something real and traditionally beautiful. So we had to just have a little icebreaker, like, hey, here's Tristan Eaton, here's Evoca, here's stuff that's just 100% loved by the world, period, and we're gonna work on it, right? And now for this one, I just try to find artists that vibed out with each other, and it ended up being heavily Asian and heavily female, but it's people that either they have worked together already, people that have been friends in different festivals, and then I think just trying to get a well-rounded thing. We have some realism on the side where you get to, who's the realist person we got right now? What do you say?
Um,
The most figurative.
it's hard to say because
Kara's new work is being pretty figurative in this one.
a lot of the artists have a really cool surrealist, like they
Yeah.
kind of start with a very realistic form, but they kind of break it up in different ways.
Oh
I
no!
think.
I can't wait to see what
Royal Dog.
I can't wait to
is-
see what the Tokidoki
Yeah, exactly.
groups bring out here because I love that art form.
I know, but
It is
it's-
so
yeah.
expressive. It's so creative.
You know, but essentially we have Royal Dog on the one end being a hyper-realistic
Yeah.
portrait painter where it's going to look like life. And it already see if it's down there by Title Guarantee against a cliff line in Anigua.
Okay.
And then we go all the way to you have the spectrum of artists where like it's like half real or it's realistic or it's mixing in illustrations into realism. And then you get over to Simone where he's doing his Tokidoki look and you have Art Time Joe who's doing a anime character mixed with like different cartoons but it's all fragmented. I just think we really try to, for the artists themselves, I think they're vibing out and they like each other and they have a similar kinds of backgrounds. But with art, it's kind of the scope. We try to hit all the way to real, all the way to more abstracted and cartoony, and trying to hit the whole gamut of what this world has to offer from the street work.
And it's totally cool if while they're creating, if people like come by, but respectfully, maybe take pictures, get a couple videos with them while they're creating.
They love
For
that.
sure, yeah.
They love that.
You were creating some of
love
the
that.
most selfie-worthy spots on Guam. I got to tell you.
My girlfriend's happy. She's all about selfies. So
There you go.
shout out to Marina.
Happy wife, happy life.
What's up? No, slow down. Girlfriend.
He said that, not me. Yeah.
Well, it's like,
Happy life partner, happy wife. There you go. Okay, so Jeff, what have you been taking in so far about
Well, one thing I want to say about that is, like I think Josh won't toot his own horn, but I think like the quality of artists that he's brought out here is actually crazy. Even the first year, because I didn't come the first year, I'm a huge fan of like Andrew Ham and all these artists at Evoca, people that did murals 2 years ago. A lot of major cities, on the mainland never get festivals like this. So I think like just to encourage people to go out while these people are here, see them in action while they're painting, because there's so many people. Like in some ways you might feel like Guam's so small, but you have to understand like how amazing this opportunity is now, because like Vancouver only got its first mural festival maybe a couple years ago. So that's
Really?
It's very rare what you're getting to see, and a lot of people will never have it come to their own city. And I'm a huge fan of a lot of the people that are here the same time as I am, so I'm just as much of a fan getting to go around and talk to them. So I think
So the NBA took away your Grizzlies so long ago, and they only gave you your first mural festival recently.
No, I don't know. It's a lot of work to organize it. I think it's so many factors, and I think I don't know what it's like here, but in Vancouver it's really difficult. Where even if you're a building owner and you want a mural, it's not as easy as just saying, oh yeah, inviting an artist and having them paint your building that you own. The city also has to approve it. So there's a lot of people who wanted to come, but they had to go through a lot of red tape to even have someone also say, okay, you're allowed. And it took a while. But I was just saying it, just to encourage people to go check out the murals, even the ones from the previous years. And it's cool to not have to already replace a bunch of the ones that already have it, but to keep adding to it. Hopefully this continues on year after year, and you really have like the startings of like a mecca for like a lot of amazing public art.
Well, even if we have to go through building ordinances and like you said, like a whole bunch of red tape, again, the lasting impression of what is left behind with these amazing creations is of immeasurable value. So if you are a building owner and you want to jump on this for next year and everything, definitely get in touch with Josh. I know you're on Facebook,
please,
you're on
yes,
Instagram.
please.
Okay, so let's talk about the sustainability talks really quickly, because Jeff, that's something that you're getting involved with as well.
Yeah, I could introduce it first. We have a block party on Thursday. So where they usually do the food trucks at Skinner's Plaza right next to the Guam Museum. We're just going to have an event with that in collaboration with what usually happens on Thursday night. So we have talks at the Guam Museum. So this is to be the Powwow Guam block party, right? We're going to have sustainability talks working with the UOG Center for Island Sustainability. And we're going to have talks about how we can move forward with Guam into being more green, into being more sustainable island, trying to follow the pathways that Palau has laid out for us. About let's ban plastic, let's do multi-use things, let's not try to be so wasteful, because we got to keep Guam beautiful if we're going to have our tourists be happy about the way it looks, right? After the sustainability talks, we have Jeff Hamada doing a talk about Boom, about art, about what his experiences are in curation, and about what artists can expect maybe when trying to grow their careers. He has a talk. His talk starts around 8:45. The sustainability around 8:30. The event is from 6 to 11. We're gonna have music, live art, food trucks. We have merch sales. We have Tokidoki, Simone here. We have special Guam product. It's really amazing. I will give you one. I promise.
Sweet, thank you.
Guys behind the scenes.
So 1, 2, 3, Ken and Asha are right there.
Yeah.
You guys heard it on Facebook.
They're gonna hold you to it.
That's true. So essentially we got a lot going on where we want to talk about everything that's happening with Powwow. A lot of artists are already there in the Ganya with their walls, so they could just kind of walk over for dinner. So come down to eat, come down to go to the auditorium. If you could get a seat, we got like 100 possible slots available, so you might want to kind of come early for that. We got some music, we got live art, and it's just like a little celebration of like what we're trying to do with all the things in Guam. We want the artists to feel celebrated. We want people to be able to walk around and really try to get that vision of like the Ganya revitalization, right? About trying to make it a city again where you walk around, you see these things. That's part of the reason why I put so many in Ganya. And even though we have the title guarantee is a little bit over here in this corner, and then we got right next to the DNA building, and we got the GTA. I want people to walk around Ganya. I want to keep on, for me personally, I want to keep on infusing art into Ganya because I want to help revitalize that place because it's a great place to ride your bike, to skateboard, and it's set out like a grid, and it's such a beautiful place. And I think it could be, for me personally, I think it'd be the Tumon for locals. I think it'd be something like what they have in Kakoako in Hawaii. And I'm hoping, and we're hoping when we're talking with the museum and some of our friends in the government that the arts can be an integral thing that's going to be part of the Ganya the revitalization. And so for this is one small step for us to start that. To say, hey, we're having a big party here. There's 3 or 4 new murals in a Ganya. Let's make this happen. We don't, Tumon, that could be for the tourists. Let's make a Ganya for us. Let's make this art, awesome, cool boutique area for us. Let's bring it back up. There's so many beautiful buildings there that just need to be fixed, and it's such a, you got all the restaurants. So essentially, please join us. Please join us on Thursday.
Okay, so our guest of honor will give you, Jeff, the final word. Maybe just plug your URL and your website so people can actually see, what you do and appreciate all the years that you've put into it and everything like that. And maybe just wrap up and say, like, what one lasting message would you like to leave with like local artists, and what should they do to take their games to the next level?
A long last.
First, the URL is really annoying to type in. It's the word boom, but with 7 O's, so it's BOOOOOOOOM.com. And that's actually
how many people get your URL? How many domains have you had?
Everyone's so upset.
Did you buy 6 and 5 and 8?
I should have.
You should have cyber squatted on at least 19 different versions.
Well, the bank isn't really annoying because it's actually the incorporated name for the company. So if I get checks and stuff at the bank, they have to like count all the O's, and they get really annoyed. But the thing that
hopefully you'll have a lot of zeros.
Yeah, they're
on the checks as well.
Unfortunately, they're O's and not zeros. but it helps them like remember. They're like, oh, there's the boom guy. They might be a little annoyed, but then it sticks in their brain.
And that's also your handle on Twitter, right?
Yeah, everything's
boom with
just
seven
boom
O's.
with 7 O's. And anyways, I apologize for how annoying it'll be to get there the first time. But yeah, I don't know. As for a final word, I honestly think it's like, it's really like, this sounds really cheesy, but it's like actually being confident and believing that you're good. And I think like when this festival, when the artists leave and they're sort of like, I don't know, the hype dies down or whatever, I hope that the artists that are still here, like, because I'm going to try and talk about like motivating artists to really push and not see like them being on an island as like an obstacle, and there's ways to like turn a smaller community into an advantage, because you could easily be the person like known for one thing. If you do it twice, he's like the mural festival guy, and in a bigger city, it would be impossible to like move to New York and in 1 year be like the person that's known for like street art. It's just impossible. So I think there's a lot of things that you can use to your advantage, and then using the internet, using sites like mine, send me your work so that I can help, be a megaphone for what you're doing. And so I think it's really just helping people, like, change people's perspective on seeing the obstacle of being here and sort of more seeing like the advantages of it, and then really trying to spur each other on. Like we were talking on the ride over here, like it's actually healthy for there to be competition in a way, but amongst artists, like people pushing each other, like athletes, like to be better. And if you don't have peers that are really pushing it, it's really difficult. So I think like trying to encourage like a whole mass of artists is easier than just one on their own to be like, I'm gonna really try to see how far I can take this. It's easier if there's like people trying to organize art shows and everyone, you know, really trying to get into them. Not everyone gets in. Like some of that stuff is actually healthy because it's the only thing that's really gonna really start to make change if like people are working to spur each other on and be better, I think. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate the knowledge you've brought here and, you know, just the genuine passion for art. And Josh, we will always appreciate everything that you're doing. And we're going to appreciate those gifts that you're going to give Ken and Asha and I when we get those. So we are really, really excited to bring you yet another episode right here on Facebook and YouTube of Group Chat. Chris, we'll see you next time. Jumping back on the set because I sat in for him today because he is on special assignment. So thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And we'll see you out there. And we're going to share Josh's Google map of all of the places where you can find those murals so that you can meet the artists, show them some love, and we cannot wait for that. We're also going to go into the post when we're done wrapping up this live stream. We're going to tag as many of the artists so you can actually follow them and avail of their amazing creation and their amazing abilities. So we got a lot of work to do. We're out. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. That was amazing.